it's got a funky beat, and I can bug out to it.
It's time for reaction. Welcome in. Old school nerd.
Gacharic Spin. Now, I've done a reaction to this band before. It was a live performance, and it was very intense. And I thought, man, these ladies can really throw down. And that's something that's becoming a common theme for those of you who know about Japanese music. There's a Japanese music revelation going on right now. It's a kind of a renaissance in Japanese music. And it's not just metal, okay? It's all forms of music. And I'm also finding out that a lot of these bands that I love have interchangeable members. A member may be a member of Love Bites or Bandmate or this or that or the other, Unlucky Morpheus, etc. And then they kind of, you know, do side projects together. And every one of them is completely different. All we know is that in Mexico, we have The Warning, right? And you see these three young ladies from Mexico, and they're just taking the United States by storm. They're taking the world by storm because they're really, really good. Musically, they're solid. Well, that's a unique thing here. It is. Unfortunately, it is. I wish it wasn't, but it is kind of a unique thing. In Japan, apparently, it's as common as getting a newspaper or or buying a tablet at the mall or buying a new pair of shoes. They are everywhere, and they are all musically amazing. So this is Gacharic Spin is the name of the band. The song is called MindSet. I haven't heard this one yet, but everyone says, keep saying you love funk. Wait till you listen to this bass line. All right. Check us out on oldschoolnerd.com. It's got all the social media posts, the Patreon link for those who want to help support the channel. We appreciate all of you, and the merchandise store. Here we go. As requested by all of you. The person who requested this said, hey, listen, I want you to do this one, right? And I want you to understand. I know you love bass players, and I know you love funky bass rhythms and grooves and everything. I'm like, yes. He goes, you're not ready. And I went, are you sure? Let's find out. It's a very interesting way to do to capture the vocalist. Okay, so she's the vocalist, and I saw the last video I did with them. She is just a monster on stage. Energy, power, expression, it's costuming, all of it. And yet in this video, minimalistic, straight up bangs cut across the eyebrows, the stereotypical schoolgirl, but classic style sailor outfit, and minimal mouth movement. Like she could be anywhere else but here and probably be much happier. You could hear the lyrics are super fast and choppy and ready to go, but the way they're filming it is just, she could literally care less. Hence MindSet. And then you see the other images of the other band members going Keith Moon from The Who on all of their stuff, just tearing it up. MindSet. Get it now? Yeah, me neither. It's got a very funky feel to it. The rhythm section, the way the piano, even the keyboards, the piano parts, very quick jazzy notes, very funk. Really love the rhythm and blues feel of this. But at the same time, the vocal stancing and the way it's composed is still very Japanese style. The way they're, and I'm not talking about the language. Don't be stupid.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
No, I'm referring to the way they're arranging the vocals and the way they're popping in and popping out and popping in and popping out. It's very Japanese pop style. So it's funk, but it's still very Japanese pop style, like J-pop style. So is it Funkanese? Japafunk? I'm asking, is there a genre for this? If there is, they should have a playlist on the Amazon Music Store, Spotify, iTunes, somewhere. Because I could spend a while here. I'm just letting you guys know. It's like an amusement park for your ears. It's the new ride, but it's not the new ride. It's like, oh, I remember funk, but this is new. You know? It's like when they tear down your favorite roller coaster from when you were a kid at the amusement park, then they put one up that's bigger and faster, and you're like, all right. That was an amusement park reference for all of you. I'm sorry.
TPO は気まんしっかり今日も過ごすつまんねえなクロストーク聞いてねえな私のトークいいですねどうでもね身を任せてベコベコスマイル上昇です調子はどうですと聞いてなんだかな聞いてなうるせえなげだよそう書いて何にせよまた今度叫んだ本当はベロベロバルかない月曜日ランランアウェイ
The styling of this video is very late 80s, early 90s pop. Have you noticed that? The clothes they're wearing? This is just released in the last few months. But there are, of course, there's modern styling to it, but there's still a few throwbacks, like the net top on the keyboardists with her little MC Hammer style shoulder pad vest with and then the midriff is open with the funky dance pants, right? You caught that? And then the drummer's going straight up angst new wave 80s style with her style. The guitarist, no, that's still Sailor Moon as shit. But this bass player's got this iridescent jacket, and it's so pop 90s. It's like you'd swear to God Will Smith would wear this and come into the Banks mentioning on, "What up, people? He's the Fresh Prince." There's so many stylings here, but of course, I understand. There's European, French, Italian, and then of course New York fashion, and then the LA fashion scene, and I don't get it. I mean, I know there's a bunch of shows on Netflix and stuff and Amazon Prime you can just watch, you know, and they're all hosted by Tim Gunn. Have you noticed that? That's very interesting. But I don't watch all that stuff. But Japanese, this styling here is just, and here's the thing. I think I caught it. No matter how you look at it, it's still funky. It's just different ages of funky, right? I know. Of all the people that should be talking about things being funky, I'm like the last one, right? Okay. Breakdown. It's so disco funk now. Now it's all like disco funk. They're all over the place, and I really, really love it. By the way, for someone who, and Tank the Tech will get this one too, for someone who used to be a bass player like myself and him as well, she's playing like 3 different styles of bass. Of course, she's doing, you can hear her doing standard pulling, with 2-finger, possibly even 3-finger pulling along the strings. She's also doing standard tip playing where she's pulling, but then you hear a lot of her doing 2 variations of what's called the claw hammer. The claw hammer is exactly what it sounds like. There's a claw where you use your fingers to pull, and then there's the thumb as the hammer. You hear it, you see it a lot in acoustic guitars, especially in country and bluegrass, but it's mostly famous for 2 instruments. The banjo, because you could do where you use the fingertip picks, so do that roll, inverted, forward roll, rear roll. Yes, I know how to do them because I've got one. But most people know of playing the claw hammer because you have that 1 string on the top part of a banjo that is different than the rest. It's a lower register, so you have that. You just pull that 3-stroke. She's doing both, but on the bass. And then at some points, she does individual plucking. You can hear it when she's doing these touch points in the breakdown. And then sometimes you hear her doing claw hammer a lot through this video. It just allows her to do 2 or 3 pluck notes and then a slap on that lower end bass string, which is where you get that real thump, which is awesome. And then sometimes she'll just thumb tap, which is really cool too. That's where you get those high impactful notes. Notable people who are well known for their thumb tap notes. The bassist from Korn. Yeah. That's where that sound you hear from Korn, that unmistakable. It's like it's not a bass, boom. It's more of a boom, boom, and it's more. You hear more impact than you do a note. It's a style. Korn made it famous. It's what makes some of their songs so amazing to listen to. She's doing some of that too, but because of the way the song is listed, you just don't feel that impact as much because of the way it's set up. This bass player is really, really good. Drummer's playing really, really tight in the pocket to really let that bass player just go everywhere. Keyboardist, she's got a lot of variation. She could do pretty much anything. And I remember on the last Gacharic spin video I did, I complained that there wasn't enough guitar in the mix. And I'm realizing that the guitarist, in the mindset of metal or rock and roll, most people think that your guitars always needs to be at the highest point in the game because it drives the melody. In this song, I think all 3 kind of just sit together. And the type of effects she's using on her guitar are not as crunchy or impactful, so you don't hear them as hard as like metal does. And because as a band together, they want the guitar, the bass, and the keyboard all kind of in the same register to kind of do a chorus in the melodic use. The guitar doesn't stand out as much because the guitarist is playing a real groovy jazz style right here. And because the bassist is doing so much claw hammer and so much punchiness, you hear the bass over the guitar in just the register. That's not a bad thing. That just means they're complex. Complex is good, by the way. I wouldn't have it any other way. Speaking of complex, the transformation of the lead singer. She went through a complete angst, emotionless life, and all of a sudden she broke free, and then she's this pink nightmare of emotion, which is kind of cool. Okay.
したくないの来世じゃなくて今世でも少し生きさせて
Sorry. Did you hear that? Did you hear this guitar player's just oh, the distortion and wah-wah. I don't know what else to call it. That funky styling, it's that popping sound in a guitar. Now, again, a lot of you people are thinking to yourself, how come this sounds so different than regular rock? It's because you're so used to having guitars lead the way in musical gain in the mix. So it sounds like she's in the background. She's not. She's in the same register as the bass and the piano player. And up until this time, that groovy jazz pluck style she's doing doesn't stand out with the fierceness of the way the bass player and the keyboardists are throwing. Now you're starting to see it kind of balance out a little bit towards the end of the song. It's kind of different. So you have to get your mindset into this. It's not like regular music. When you're conditioned to hear the bass in the background all the time, or you're used to having keyboards just kind of do kind of an ethereal, symphonic accompaniment, and everything is driven by the guitar. When you pull the guitar back with everything else and you give everything else the same ability, it's a different sound. It's a really different sound. You have to kind of get into it and not let yourself be like, why does it sound so weird? No, it doesn't sound weird. You're just not used to this style of arrangement in the game. In the plot line of the storytelling of this music, the arrangement and the gain list on the board, when they set it up for the mix, they just put everything together in one spot. And everyone has a moment to shine. And this is the guitar moment where you really realize, oh yeah, she is there. She's just been doing her own thing. Yeah. And it's really cool. I mean, it's totally different. That's cool. I didn't say enough about the drummer, and I do want to say this. On the first song I did with this band, she was all over the place. Tom work, cymbal work, kick drum was all over the place. This one, she mainly just ran in that hi-hat snare run the whole time. But she also shines through as a vocalist here. But when it comes to funk, it can become too busy. It can, quickly. Ask Parliament Funkadelic when you got 20 people on the stage and everybody's playing an instrument. It can get a little chaotic. So everyone has to know, hey, for this song, this is what I'm going to do. And the drum player's like, look, we're going. I'm going to do some vocals. I'm going to do kind of half the vocals with the lead vocalist. We're going to do this thing. I'm going to give you guys a platform. I'm going to keep it sharp, funky, hi-hat, snare, a lot of playing. Maybe a few little pop fills and maybe one or two tom hits into a quick cymbal crash and then right back into that groove. Why? Because that's what the song needs. To let this bass player literally claw hammer her way and slap pull her way through almost 5 minutes nonstop. She needs that. Because she doesn't give a gap for a fill for the drum player. She's never stopping. And same for the guitarist and the piano player. They didn't really stop. Even during the breakdown, it wasn't much of a breakdown. They paused for like a second to go, oh, and then right back into it. They changed it up, but it was still just nonstop. Okay. Gacharic spin. I like this. I really, really, really do. Gacharic spin. The song is called MindSet. My name is Old School Nerd. And yeah, that was me on a Thursday. Getting my funk on. Japanese style. Still not sure if that's a thing. But if it is, I really like it.